I'm covering post-SCAD recovery, coping with the Blindside, we call it. I have the honor of being a 23-year SCAD survivor and am SCAD Alliance co-founder and executive director. So here we go. You remember what it was like. Life was perfect, right? We all thought so. We were probably where we wanted to be career-wise, maybe family-wise. Things just seemed to be going well. We took care of ourselves. We were active. And then all of a sudden that tsunami right there came crashing down on our velvet sofa. And we all have various stories. We know that about SCAD, but there seems to be this common denominator. In my case, this was the other side of the blind side. And this was me back home after open heart surgery for 2 blockages. And really, I don't know why I'm smiling, but I guess I was trying to put a good face on it. I had my little guy Ian over there, and in the mosquito netting was Evan, my newbie. And I think we all can relate to the idea that there's so much to process post-SCAD. We've covered a lot of it through discussions with Dr. Fallon this morning, and Vonda's story, Lance's story. This word cloud kind of summarizes a lot of it. It came from a group meeting of family, friends, patients, and caregivers one time. So I think you can all relate that it's just a mix of emotions, a mix of fears, a mix of trying to understand what to do next, trying to decide if it actually really happened, because it just seems so surreal. So how to cope, heal, and thrive. This was one I hope this covers everything that speaks to you. I feel like it's TLC for you is kind of the basic fundamental goal post-SCAD. And I really believe this. You have to rest. You have to regroup and charge that battery. Your body's been through a lot. Your mind's been through a lot. So top of the list to me is rest when you can. Ask for help and let people help you. People feel good about helping you, and you don't have to be a Wonder Woman anymore. You've proven you're Wonder Woman because you've survived a SCAD heart attack. So that leads to the third point, is remember how strong you are. A lot of people think, well, why me? Why did this happen? Why am I still here? And fundamentally, you survived and you're here and you're carrying on because you're strong. But you still have to rest. Next up in the coping, learn about SCAD. Don't obsess about SCAD. We see a lot of situations online where people, begin to learn, begin to get into the data, begin to get into some conversations, and a lot of that can be just overwhelming. So, definitely take little bits, belong to as many groups as you're comfortable with, but leave as many groups as you're comfortable with too. You don't have to live online. You need to live your life and use the internet as a touch point to get new information, to make some relationships, hopefully to meet somebody who lives near enough to you to get together for a cup of tea or coffee. Always be sure appointment time rolls around, make your list of questions and, assert your time in that meeting with your doctor to ask those questions. And, if they don't know the answer, they're going to refer you to someone who does know the answer, hopefully. And, advocate for yourself that way in your recovery by learning with your doctor about SCAD if that's necessary. And then you probably want to take some more rest. I know I'm ready for rest today. Definitely complete cardiac rehab. There are many forms of cardiac rehab nowadays. It's changing. It's not just the 80-year-old guys that you hang out with. And, I always laugh because my group, they invited me to a barbecue on the first day, even though I was, postpartum and eager to get back to my baby. So it was kind of funny. But definitely pursue cardiac rehab. You'll feel better about it, even if it's not meeting your physicality, what you want to be doing. It will improve your confidence in your body and your ability to get back to what you want to do. Also, this timeline to me is basically first year. Each month is going to be different, but as you move through the year post-SCAD, plan a trip, plan an event you want to host or go to, and start to look forward again. But be sure to rest, and then enjoy your village and expand it. I think that's one of the most important things, is to not feel like your life has ended. Your life has changed in certain ways, but not a complete do-over. You're still you, you're still strong, and it's time to move forward with your diagnosis. So where we come in at SCAD Alliance is to give you more resources to learn for yourself and to educate others, hopefully. On the SCAD Alliance website, we have a whole bunch of downloads. We have a 4-color brochure. We have a more clinician-focused brochure. We call it the top 5 for clinicians. We have an emergency care alert card there that you can download and print whatever size you want, either for your wallet or to post on your refrigerator or in the glove box of your car. So please take a look at the downloads. And we have a YouTube channel that has a lot of great information. We host all the symposiums there, any specific interviews that have been done. We have a whole playlist for GVASC. You can learn all about it and how to participate, how to do your sample and how to return it. And then, of course, we are on social media. So that QR code should take you to the general website. The resources for healing and growth, we have a very important one called SCAD Warrior, and the credit for it goes to Dr. Tina Pittman-Wagers and Dr. Katie Sears-Edwards, who both were early proponents of psychosocial work and were advisors to SCAD Alliance. I would say back to 2014. It's been a long time. And they have done some excellent work, published, and are pursuing other projects that are going to be beneficial to patients down the road. But right now we have the SCAD Warrior app that's some self-paced modules on our website. You can find it through that QR code. And a lot of the faces that you've seen today, Dr. Melissa Wood for one I can think of, Dr. Esther Kim for another, are on there giving their advice and giving you some self-paced, again, educational modules that can help you decide, if you're healing and growing in your new reality successfully, or if maybe it is time to consult with a therapist for some additional support. Opportunities to participate in research, I think, are very important to coping. I think it's one of the most rewarding things you can do for yourself and for your family, and it takes a little bit of the worry out of like, why isn't something being done? Well, something is being done and you're part of it. We are the sponsor of iSCAD Registry, and you're going to hear, you've heard a lot about it so far, and you'll hear more. So we are getting situated with our next data coordinating center, so you'll hear a lot more in the future about what's next for iSCAD. And then, of course, just as I mentioned a minute ago, the GVASC study is something that we have been helping to recruit patients to over this past year, and it is continuing. So please, if you haven't yet, scan the QR code and get the information to join. It's super simple. If you've done your sample, please mail it in. Some people just, find it hard to get that last step completed, but we do need your contribution to the work. It's going to be very exciting and hopefully give us a lot of great answers. And then finally, I think, and you've seen it today, one of the biggest steps in coping and moving forward after SCAD is becoming an advocate. And that can be one of many things, just basic principle is your story itself makes you an advocate. So, you think about your story and what you want to share. And then when you have something that you feel comfortable with, you just start with your family, and you tell your doctors and the nurses, you talk to a trusted friend. There's an opportunity at cardiac rehab. When you're on the treadmill, you can share your story. Lunch group at work, book club, health fairs. And then you can take the step that, Lane's done and other folks, is to do local media. Sometimes your local network might be picked up by another larger media outlet and do your story. So just make it your own, but do what you're comfortable with, because, what I say there at the end is your advocacy speaks for all survivors, and that's you can't put a price tag on that. So thank you so much for all that you do in your lives and being with us here today and helping us move ahead with SCAD as a group. We're all in it together. So thank you.